They called us prey. The hunt began on a red moon called Delra 7, thick forests, tall cliffs, no cities. No humans, at least. That's what the Zarnak hunters believed. They came in shining armor, with long curved weapons and hoverbikes that moved. Like wind. Hunting humans wasn't war for them. It was entertainment. A rich alien sport. They saw humans as soft, slow, and simple. Easy targets. Prey. A Zarnak warlord named Gorvath led the latest hunt. He was tall, his body covered in bone armor, made from creatures he had killed. Beside him were 5 elite hunters. Each wore trophies from their past hunts: ears, bones, skulls. Most of those trophies were from Earth's scattered colonies. Gorvath stood in the middle of the forest, clearing, and sniffed the air. Human scent, he growled. Fresh. They smiled. A boy ran through the woods. Young, barely 15, his shirt torn, face dirty, but his eyes were sharp. The hunters chased him for miles. They laughed as they jumped over rocks, flew between trees, and tracked him like a wild animal. This one will squeal, one alien said, but the boy didn't squeal. He ran like he knew the forest. And when the Zarnak caught up to him at the edge of a deep gorge, the boy finally stopped running. He turned around. And smiled. The aliens paused. The boy raised his hand and pointed. Behind them, Gorvath turned. Click. Mines exploded in the trees. One Zarnak flew into the air in pieces. Another screamed as fire swallowed him. Hidden turrets rose from the dirt and fired laser rounds. The hunters scattered. From the trees, 6 human soldiers dropped down silently, wearing camo suits and old Earth rifles modified for stealth kills. The boy ducked as Captain Arlen. Voss stepped forward and shot the 3rd Zarnak through the head. In less than 30 seconds, 5 hunters were dead. Only Gorvath remained. He turned to run, but the forest closed behind him. A net of fire dropped from above. Trapped. Captain Voss walked over and stared down at him. You were hunting children, he said coldly. Gorvath hissed. You single quotes read. Pray. Voss crouched and whispered, Then why are you in the cage? The message went out, not to alien leaders, not to governments, to the galaxy's black markets, pirate hubs, and dark combs. Human prey fights back. We hunt now. The video showed Gorvath, once a rich Zarnak warlord, chained in silence, humiliated. Reaction? Panic. On the planet Sileron, a famous alien hunter called Vrek Thal canceled his human hunt and vanished. On Euros Prime, a weapons merchant stopped selling human hunting kits. The game had changed, but the galaxy didn't know how much, because this wasn't a rescue mission. This was the start of the purge. In a hidden command bunker under Earth's moon. Commander Naomi Sira watched the footage. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply said, Begin Phase 1. Around her, Earth's deadliest war survivors prepared to launch. No one shouted. No speeches. Only action. The Zarnak had destroyed 5 Earth colonies over the last decade. They thought humans would hide. Instead, they had awakened something old, something angry, something human. Deep in space, Zarnak patrol ships started disappearing. No signals, no traces, just gone. Elite hunters returned to their ships and found their crews missing, their controls disabled, and their ships locked. From the outside. In their place, only a message carved into the wall. Prey never forgets. On the galactic news channels, leaders began to deny everything. We don't support the hunts, they claimed. They were rogue actions, they said. It was just sport. They pleaded. But Earth sent no response. Just more silence. And with each passing night, another hunter died. They called humans prey. But they forgot one thing: prey adapts. And when prey evolves, the hunters become the hunted. The Zarnak warship Blood Pride drifted silently in orbit over a dead colony world. It had just returned from a successful hunt, 10 more humans dead. Recorded for sport. Inside, the alien crew laughed in their gold-plated armor, watching footage of the chase. One even mimicked a crying child, making the rest burst into cruel laughter. They thought they were untouchable. They thought wrong. Hook start. At exactly 3 o'clock ship time, the lights blinked. Just once. Then the gravity failed. One crew member floated. Upward, confused. Another reached for the control panel, but his hand met nothing. The screen had turned black. Static buzzed. Then the hull screamed. Metal groaned like it was alive. The ship's captain barked orders. Status report. Shields up. But no one replied, because by then, they were already on board. Captain Arlen Voss and his strike team unit. Echo 7 moved through the corridors like shadows. No boots. No voices. Only knives and silence. Weapons. They didn't come to disable. They came to erase. Voss marked his path with short laser dots. Each signal meant one thing. Room clear. Target neutralized. Within 4 minutes, half the alien crew was dead. The rest never even saw their killers. One Zarnak officer opened a door and was pulled in by a gloved hand. No sound. No fight. Just silence. Then a flash. Gone. In the ship's command center. The captain finally got a single screen working. A camera. Feed. It showed his own crew. Their bodies hanging upside down in the engine room, each marked with a single word. Apex. He froze. That's when the fire started. Echo 7 had reached the core. A bomb shaped like a toolbox sat quietly in the reactor room. Not designed to explode outward. Was a fold bomb, one that collapsed the ship in on itself, leaving only a tiny ball of melted steel. Voss looked at it once, tapped a timer. 0:45. He turned to his team. Extraction. The dropship detached from the underside of Blood Pride. Just as the countdown reached 0. From orbit, the ship didn't explode. It just vanished, folding into a burning speck and then disappearing like dust in a sunbeam. Across the galaxy, Zarnak command stations received a message. Blood Pride, lost, no survivors. They tried to scan the zone. No signals. No wreckage. No enemy. Just a small satellite left behind, still broadcasting the word Apex. The galaxy's strongest hunters had just lost their flagship. In the Andes Mountains on Earth. Commander Naomi. Syrah reviewed the operation log. No errors. No traces. Just perfection. She looked to her staff. What's the tally? An officer replied, second strike completed. 4 hunter ships down, 0 human losses. Commander Syrah nodded. Then we continue. Phase 2. Begin the confusion. Meanwhile, on the Zarnak homeworld, fear spread. From war. From silence. No enemy declared war. No. Demands came in. Just quiet. And then another ship vanished. Then a base. Then a command tower. The Zarnak started whispering something they never believed they'd say. The prey is hunting back. In a secret alien military council, one general slammed the table. These are just humans. We've hunted them for decades. Another one, an older Zarnak with one arm missing, whispered, they're not the same now. A single quotes Vedat. Changed. On a distant world, a group of young Zarnak hunters gathered to watch old footage of Earth hunts. One leaned forward and said, I want to try. I want to kill a human. An elder in the room shook his head. Then prepare to die. These are no longer the days of sport. The galaxy had made one mistake. It had hunted Earth like a game. But Earth was now awake. And humans were no longer running. They were tracking. The Zarnak Hunter Guild had existed for 800 years. It trained elites. It organized hunts. It sold human skulls as trophies. But today, the doors were locked. No lights, no guards, no more laughing trophies, just silence, and a red mark sprayed on the front gate. Prey remembers. Hook start, first 5 minutes. On the wealthy moon Veltrix, a hunting event was supposed to begin. Hundreds of aliens gathered to watch the capture of 3 human survivors. The audience wore fine clothes. Children held hunter flags. They cheered as armored elites entered the arena. The gate opened, but no humans walked out. Instead, the alien announcer's head fell from the platform. Gasps turned to screams. From the sky, something dropped, a bundle of armor and weapons that the hunters they were cheering for, burned, and marked with one word: Apex. In the Zarnak Senate chamber, alarms rang. "We must stop this," cried one member. "They are just humans," another shouted. "No," said the war minister. "They were humans. Now they are something else." Fear in high places alien. Civilians began to panic. News stations once mocking humans now ran safety warnings. Do not travel near Earth space. Do not enter abandoned colonies. Report all missing ships immediately. The once proud hunter empire began deleting old records, removing videos, hiding proof of what they did. But it was too late. The galaxy had seen it. On a distant science station, an AI malfunctioned. It played a message across all internal speakers. Not music, not data. Just a child's voice whispering, "You made us pray. Now we hunt the stars." No one claimed responsibility. No one knew how it got in. The civilian shift protests broke out in Zarnak cities. "You brought this." People yelled at the guild leaders. "We never wanted the hunts." In secret, alien families began fleeing to neutral space. Zarnak youth refused military drafts. Hunter armor, once worn with pride, was now being burned in the streets. Meanwhile, Earth said nothing, got no peace offer, no surrender demand, not even a face on the screen, just silence. And in that silence, the stars trembled. In a hidden human command ship, Captain Voss reviewed new data. Zarnak hunting fleets had shrunk by 40%. Public trust in their empire was collapsing. And 3 more enemy planets had just gone quiet. No attacks. No bodies. Just gone. Voss looked at his team. "Let the silence do the work," he said. "The louder they scream, the more they fear the quiet." The nightmare begins. High Commander Tervol, a war hero, woke in the middle of the night. His hands shook. He had seen a dream again. A human soldier standing in the shadows. No face, just a voice. "Do you remember the screams of our children?" He couldn't sleep again. He wasn't alone. Other generals began reporting the same dream. That same figure, same voice, same message. The humans hadn't just attacked their ships. Were inside their minds now. Back on Earth, Commander Naomi Sierra stood before a large screen. It showed star charts. Systems where hunts began. Now marked with cold black circles. Each one extinct. Alien governments tried to silence the fear. "Earth won't come for us," they said. "This will pass." But no one believed it, because every night, somewhere in the galaxy, a hunter vanished, and in their place, someone found a phrase scratched into metal, burned into walls, or painted in blood. "We remember." Zarnak Command Station Theta 9 orbited a quiet blue star. It was the last checkpoint before reaching Earth's region of space. No ship had dared cross it in 5 years. Until now. Hook. Start. First 5 minutes. The station detected something small, too small to be a warship. No engine trail, no ID code, just a faint heat signature drifting toward them. "Probably debris," said the watch officer. The commander frowned. "Scan it again." Before the scan could finish, The station's lights flickered, one by one. Sections lost power. Shields offline. Weapons not responding. No internal cameras. Then a voice came through the main speakers, slow, calm, human. You hunted. You laughed. We listened. Now we answer. Panic across the stars within. Ours, Zarnak's fleet leaders, received emergency signals. Theta 9 lost. Scout group burned in orbit. Entire supply convoys missing. And in every case, no enemy ships were seen. Only destruction. Zarnak High Command gathered in their war chamber. We need reinforcements, barked General Kalvax. No, said Admiral Thrun. We need peace. A silence fell across the table. Peace with humans? It felt like defeat. But no one laughed. No one objected. Because even now, Zarnak civilians were rioting not for war, but for survival. They had seen the footage. Humans didn't just kill. They erased. The ghost strike in the Vexler system. 3. Zarnak destroyers stood watch. Near a trade route, everything was calm. Until all 3 ships received the same message at the same time. You stand on bones. Moments later, the ship's engines exploded from inside. No missiles. No beams. Just silent sabotage. And from the smoke. Human stealth ships uncloaked, drifting past without firing a single shot. The ships had already won before appearing. Captain Arlen Voss, leading the Ghost Fleet, watched the operation from his command chair. He didn't blink. We've broken their air. Now we break their voice. Back on Zarnak Prime, the Zarnak Emperor stood in his private tower. Once, his words controlled galaxies. Now, his advisors begged him to surrender. Make a deal. Send ambassadors. Offer them territory. But he knew what Earth wanted. Not land. Not power. Not riches. Earth wanted them to feel it. What the humans felt when they were hunted. Helpless. Powerless. Forgotten. That night, Earth finally sent its first and only transmission. A single file. No sound. Just images, children running. Humans burned. Cities turned to smoke. Zarnak hunters posing with trophies. Then one word appeared on the screen. Extinction. The galaxy fell into fear. Other species turned against the Zarnak. Old allies erased their names from databases. Colonies began tearing down hunter statues. Across the stars, planets declared neutrality. We do not support the Zarnak. We honor Earth's pain. We want peace. But Earth never replied, because Earth had no interest in peace, only in memory. The final act begins back in the Andes bunker. Commander Naomi Sierra studied a list of names. Zarnak High Command Hunt Guild Families Colony Overseers War Scientists. She looked at her officers. Are the packages delivered? Yes, ma'am, one replied. Each marked, each targeted. She closed the screen. Then we continue. Earth wasn't coming with fleets. It was coming like a shadow. One by one, the pillars of Zarnak society collapsed. No battle, just names. Disappearing. And above it all, one phrase began to echo across every system, every screen, every whispered voice. This was never war. This was the reckoning. The Zarnak homeworld, once full of light, now sat in shadows. Shields offline. Defense towers dark. Skyships grounded. Every major system had failed, but not from war. Not from bombs. From fear. Hook. First 5 minutes. The Emperor of the Zarnak Empire stood alone at his palace window. Below him, smoke curled from streets, once filled with banners and soldiers. Now empty. He heard distant shouting. His people were turning against him. Not because Earth told them to, but because the truth had. He closed his 4 eyes and whispered, this wasn't supposed to happen. But it had. In orbit, the last Zarnak battlecruiser, Oblivion Claw, drifted in silence. Its captain waited for orders. Then his screen flickered on. Not human faces, just names. 3,218 names. Zarnak officers, generals, scientists, politicians dot and decide each name. Eliminated. One after another dot in order dot without warning, without resistance. The screen went black, and a single phrase appeared. Only memory remains. Across the galaxy, survivors of human colonies finally began to speak. A girl who hid for 6 years inside. A sewer on Mars Colony 9. A mother who watched her children get hunted for sport on Ilverin Prime. A boy who wore a mask made of scrap metal just to survive the Hunter Games. Now, their voices were everywhere. Their stories were truth. The Zarnak had lost more than power. They had lost control of the story. Last command. Meeting inside a hidden war chamber deep beneath the capital, the last Zarnak generals gathered. No armor. No weapons. Only fear. One slammed his fist. This is not a war. Another whispered, no. It's punishment. Someone else said, we must surrender. But the youngest officer stood up and asked, surrender to what? No demands, no treaties, no conditions. Just death and silence. Meanwhile, above the dome, Zarnak capital, a single object entered orbit. Not a ship, not a weapon. Small metal box. It opened. A soft blue light blinked inside. And then, holograms appeared across every city. Images of Earth. Burning, crying, fighting, dying. Zarnak civilians fell to their knees. Children asked, what did we do? Elders answered, we called them prey. The box spoke. One voice, calm, human. You hunted our people. You broke our homes. You smiled while we screamed. Now we speak with silence. In the bunker, Captain Arlen Voss watched it unfold. His scarred hands tightened around the armrest of his chair. He didn't cheer. He didn't smile. He just said, mark final target. Emperor level. Execute when ready. Above the palace. Sound pierced the sky. A human stealth ship uncloaked just long enough for everyone to see its symbol. A wolf's head. A broken spear. A human eye, watching. Then, it vanished. No explosion. No missile. Just the Emperor falling to his knees. As a clean hole opened in his chest, his crown fell beside him. The galaxy received the news in shock. Zarnak Emperor. Assassinated. No known attacker. No trace. There was no one left to command. No one left to lie. No one left to deny Earth's message. In response, the remaining planets of the Zarnik Empire did one thing. They deleted their own names. They erased Zarnik from star maps. They removed hunter symbols from public squares. They sent one final transmission to Earth. We remember. We regret. We surrender. But Earth never replied. The ghost fleet disappeared after that. No human armies arrived. No occupation. Began. Silence. And in that silence, the stars began to change. Statues of honor were rebuilt this time for the young. Hunted, not the hunters. New laws were written. No species may hunt another for sport. No species may enter Earth space uninvited. All will remember. Final scene of Part 5. On a peaceful farming moon, a young alien child looked up at the stars. Papa, he said, will the humans come back someday? His father kneeled and answered, no, they came only once, and we made sure they never had to again. Years passed. The stars kept turning. New governments rose. New species found peace. But no one ever forgot what happened. Not the children, not the rulers, not the stars themselves, because in one corner of the galaxy, a silence still remained. A silence shaped like Earth. Hook. Start. First 5 minutes. On a quiet learning world. A young alien cadet raised his hand during history class. Teacher, he asked. Why can't we travel to Earth space? The teacher paused. She looked out the window, where a faded statue stood, a human silhouette, carved from dark stone. No one enters Earth space, she said gently, because the stars remember what they did to Earth, and what Earth did back. On Zarnak Prime, now called Ashara, wild forests grew over the ruins of once golden towers. No cities. No guards. Only memorial stones. Each one held a name, not of hunters. But of the humans. They hunted. One single stone had no name at all. Just two words carved deep in its surface. We remember. Earth today. No warships had left Earth orbit in 10 years. No signals were sent. No trade. No politics. No diplomacy. Only silence. But every now and then, something strange would happen. A drifting ship would pass near Earth's border. Their systems would fail gently. Their weapons would deactivate. Their screen would show only one image, a human face. Eyes closed, no words, just watching. Then everything would return to normal. No attack. Just a reminder. The final. Ghost Captain Arlen Voss walked through a quiet garden at the base of the Andes Mountains. Earth had rebuilt slowly. Plant by plant, home by home. He passed a row of graves, each one marked not by medals or rank, but by one-word titles. Mother, daughter, brother, child. He stopped at the last grave. It had no body, just a name. Hope. And beneath it, the same symbol seen across 1,000 stars. A wolf, a broken spear, an eye, the mark of those who hunted back. Voss placed a coin on the grave. One side showed Earth's old flag. The other side was blank, pure black. He whispered, "They will never hunt again." And then he walked away. Final moments across the galaxy. Stories were told around campfires and holograms. Tales of the time of silence, when humanity rose from ashes and brought down an empire without shouting, without mercy. Children asked, were they monsters? The answer was always the same. No, they were just the last ones you should have hunted. In the end, Earth sent no final message, because it didn't need to. Its silence said everything. And that silence stayed for years, for decades, forever. Galaxy never hunted again, because Earth had taught it one final truth. Pray who survive. Don't forget. Pray who fight back. Don't stop. And when the hunted become the hunters, the stars learn to be quiet.